In this video, I want to share with you the tips and tricks I use to read really hard books, or at least get through them with more ease. And so the reason you might want to do this is if you're trying to be, some cultured, douchey dude like myself and reading philosophy and political history and art sciences and textbooks, basically. So if you're having trouble reading any of these difficult books, here are the best tips I can give you to help you become a better reader. And the reason I can give you this advice is because I would consider myself now a voracious reader, somebody who reads more than a couple hours a day just for fun. I'm not in school or anything like that. It's just something I like to do. I think I can give you some pretty good tips that might help you. So the first tip is warm up. And if you watched my flow state video, then you'll know that there's the 15-minute rule. And the 15-minute rule basically is just you getting in the motion of doing the thing. So when you're reading something that's very hard or intense or has a lot of hard grammar or is a translation and just requires a lot of brain power, what you want to do is warm up. And you don't have to warm up with the same book that you're reading, because I find warming up with an easier book allows me to get in the zone so that I can actually finish, or I can actually get in the zone for the new book. So what would I do? If I'm reading something like I currently am, Blood Meridian, which is a difficult book because the grammar's totally fucked and all the words are pretty big in describing cowboy talk, things like that. Or if you're reading some Carl Jung or something where it just requires a lot of fucking RAM, what I will do is I'll start with something easy, something like this, like a comic book, like something that's literally a picture book, but I'm so into right now, and I love doing this, and I do it just for fun anyways. But it's what I'll start with to warm myself up to be able to read the harder books. So I'll start with this. I'll delete one of these, and after I delete one of those, I'm basically in the zone to read. And once you're in the zone to read, you pick up your other book, and you can really feel more focused. And this just gives you, just the act of reading one of these is literally priming you to be able to sit down, focus on one thing at a time, and just move through the pages. And this will really help after. The second tip I want to give you is I want you to read out loud. Now, it's not the fastest way to read books, and I'll make a video about how to read faster and actually comprehend what you're reading. But reading out loud makes it more exciting. It makes it more real, especially in a book like Blood Meridian. And if you've read it, then you know it's kind of difficult to get through, but if you've gotten through it, then you know how great it is. What I'll do is I'll read it out loud, and I'll actually use the voices. I'll act as if I'm in the book. If I'm one of the characters, I'll talk in different accents. I'll make it fun, because difficult books like Memories, Dreams, and whatever the fuck that Carl Jung book is I finished was something that was very difficult, but once I started saying things out loud, it started to make more sense in my head. So it allowed me to comprehend it better. When things don't make sense, what we can do is we can invite different senses and allow ourselves to really understand. And what do we do when we are reading? We're only seeing something, but when we speak it out loud, we're hearing it audially, and we're actually imagining ourselves in the situation. And that allows us to understand it better and actually get through it without having to go back and, find try and reread and things like that and just force it down. And so with those two tips already, you're basically laughing. You can read any book that you want. The third thing that I would recommend is that I would have a notebook and I'd write in all these books. These books are going to require a lot more brain power than, my X-Men comic books will. But what they do is they offer you different perspectives of classical cultural readings that, make you more educated and therefore make you more attractive and better in relationships and actually talking to people about, more complex ideas and perspectives. And so what you can do from there is, if it's your own book, write the shit out of it. Use a pencil and actually follow along with the words that you're reading. Make notes, make comments, put stars, do all that kind of stuff, and have a notebook on the side. This makes reading so much more fun. And I think what makes hard stuff hard to read is that it's not that fun. So if you can make reading fun, you can read anything. That's how you become a deadly reader. Somebody who reads 3-4 hours a day, no problem, just sits down, gets through it, and it feels like time's flying by. You always think about it when kids, it's like Harry Potter or something like that. They're just like under the blankets with a flashlight or their wand or whatever, and they're just like reading this book because they're so captured by it. And that's what I want you to feel when you read. So just by doing that, warming up, getting into that flow state of it, reading something easier and then going to it, speaking out loud while you're reading it and playing different parts as different characters and as an actor or whatever you want, and making it fun by actually taking notes and having conversations with the book that you're reading is going to make it so much more enjoyable, exciting, and fun. And yeah, honestly, if you could love reading as much as I do, I think you'll have such a wonderful life, and the only thing that's really going to upset you is that you wouldn't have more time to read, because life is sadly short. But anyways, with that, always remember to rep the set and have a good time.